Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Mi, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Currently in our story in One Piece, we do not know Sabo's whereabouts, and after the events that happened in Lelouch Island, we don't even know if he's still alive. But because he's a really important character to the overall story, it's likely that he's still alive and somewhere near the event that just happened in the kingdom we saw. However, Sabo is still in danger and not out of the woods yet, because he's close to enemy territory and he's gonna need help to get back safely to the revolutionaries, so that he can pass on the information that he's learned while in the Holy Land. And then, once rescued, there's a possibility that the Straw Hats may even be the ones responsible for this rescue. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about the possibility of Sabo joining up with the Straw Hats, albeit temporarily, to be able to take down the world government, or at least some other important character that is part of this organization, and how the Straw Hats will be able to find him. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel, or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like, or even subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or your favorite with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, the possibility that Sabo may still be alive after the destruction of the Lelouch Kingdom is still quite possible. But we also know that the world government is gonna try and take his life at all costs, lest he leak the important information about the world government and even Im-sama's existence. During the Revelry arc in Marijois, Sabo ended up confronting Admiral Ryukugyu and Fujitora so that his fellow revolutionaries could escape with Kuma. But a fight against two great admirals would just be impossible for Sabo to take on. Yet somehow he managed to escape from this battle. This escape was most likely due to the fact that the admirals had to hold back because of where they were, because they couldn't cause destruction around them, because there were the world nobles all nearby. Because as we know, Fujitora and Ryukugyu's power have a very large destructive capability and range. Admiral Fujitora has the ability to control gravity and is able to attract meteors to hit his enemies, causing great destruction over a large area. And Ryukugyu is able to create a large forest in any place he goes, increasing his combat field. Because of the large potential for collateral damage, they were unable to let their full powers loose there in Marijois. And also for the fact that there were representatives of all the 20 kingdoms, the Gorosei, and the celestial dragons that lived nearby in a big castle. Had the admirals used all their power to take out Sabo, at some point in this battle, they would have either injured or even taken the life of one of these globally important figures, causing the admirals and the marines to take the blame for this act, no matter how they tried to spin the story. And even though he has no connection to the events that led to the King of Alabasta losing his life, all of the blame fell on Sabo. Now we don't know the reason yet, but the world government has put the blame on him and said that he lost his life as well. Perhaps this event could have something to do with the fact when the Gorosei met with Im-sama and asked which star or light in the world needed to be erased or extinguished. And the King of Alabasta might have been chosen to have their life taken, or at the very least Vivi, but again, the blame fell on Sabo, who happened to be there. But in reality, nobody really knows what happened during all these events, and probably not even Sabo, who would understand why he would take the blame for something he didn't do. I mean, even the Marines are on a quest to find out what really happened with their internal investigation. In one of the more recent chapters of One Piece, Sabo called the revolutionaries on a transponder snail, and he informed his companions that not only he was alive, but that his call was being intercepted by the world government. Because of this, they knew where the call was originating from, coming from a kingdom near Marijois. This information was then passed on to the Gorosei, and the Gorosei then informed Im-sama. Now this mysterious person then picks up a map that could possibly be one of the 3 ancient weapons, and once they mark an X on top of the realm that Sabo was, something then happened. A large object appears above the island, obscured in the clouds, and unleashed a shower of laser beams upon the kingdom, destroying it completely and erasing it from the map, possibly leaving 0 remnants of life or even rock or rubble on the site. And this might have been where Sabo possibly lost his life. However, just before the kingdom was destroyed and the call cut off, Sabo managed to pass on the information to the revolutionaries, saying that he had not taken the life of the King of Alabasta, and that there was somebody sitting on the empty throne. Of course, referring to Im-sama, who is responsible for ruling the world, although very secretively. There's even the possibility that Sabo could have seen their face, and it's for this reason Im-sama wanted to take Sabo's life at all all cost. Now, this could have been something that they may have succeeded in, but again, Sabo could be alive even after the destruction of the kingdom because he knows he's a target for what he saw. Many in the community have been speculating that since Sabo's capture, or at least his disappearance, that this may be another situation like what happened prior to Marineford, where Ace was captured by the Marines and Luffy went to rescue him. So many think that once Luffy finds out that Sabo is in trouble, he will likely go after him to try and rescue him. But at this point in time, we've just started a new arc, and Luffy is busy finding out who Vegapunk is, as well as getting answer about some very important things, such as the origin of devil fruits. But whatever battle still awaits Luffy and Im-sama, and however Sabo figures into it, this is a battle that will decide the fate of the One Piece world, because the winner of this conflict will be able to rule the world as they wish, without interference, because as we know, the world government still rules the whole world, at least for now. But should Im-sama be defeated by the revolutionaries, they would be able to change how the world is ruled, and they could change the rules in any way they want, and even get rid of the world nobles from their positions, bringing a actual peace back to the world. However, if the world government were to come out victorious and defeat the revolutionaries, this would extend their reach, because really the only organization that poses a real and significant threat to the world government is the Revolutionary Army. You see, pirates on the grand scale are really not a problem for the world government, because they have the Marines and the SSG to take care of them. But the revolutionaries are a very different kind of quantity, because they act in an organized and yet secretive way, and the Marines don't even know where they're located, so they can't make any direct actions against them. So if Sabo were to unite with the Straw Hats, even temporarily, they would be able to directly confront the world government, because the Straw Hats have many powerful pirates, and they also have the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. This at least gives us the idea that the probability that Sabo will temporarily join the Straw Hats crew is pretty good, because since we have this great conflict to come, we know that Luffy is gonna play some part, even if he doesn't know yet the role he needs to play. One thing that is concerning though is that if the world government were able to trace the location of Sabo, it's likely that they could have also traced it back to the revolutionaries. And that puts this whole group in danger, because if their location is revealed, this is going to be something that then Im-sama can act on. Another piece of information that adds on to the idea that Sabo may in fact join the Straw Hats is this mysterious disappearance of Princess Vivi. Now, once the Straw Hats learned that Vivi had disappeared during the revelry, many of the Straw Hats, including Luffy, wanted to go after her to save her, because she is a de facto member of the crew, although she isn't on the boat just now. So if going after Vivi alone wasn't enough to get the Straw Hats to change course, perhaps needing to save Vivi and Sabo might be enough to get the crew to go in that direction once they're done on this Egghead Island. Because with the last mention of Vivi disappearing after her father's life was taken, it's likely that she escaped with Sabo and may have even helped in his escape. Going back to that scene we saw right before the Gorosei ask Im-sama which light should be extinguished, we see them hold up Vivi's poster, so she could be the very life that he wanted to see erased. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Vivi would have been with her father during the revelry in Marijois, and if he had seen anyone going to injure his daughter, Cobra would have done anything and everything to keep his daughter safe. And if Sabo had gotten caught up in the mix, of course, Cobra being the only king that Dragon respects, and probably even Sabo, this would have created that situation where Cobra held everybody off, allowing Sabo and Vivi to escape. But at least for now, this rescue is gonna have to wait, because we know the Straw Hats are busy solving some issues with Vegapunk, as well as the fact that we just learned that CB0 is on their way to Egghead Island to take all of the scientist's life and other robot versions, which means that Vegapunk and the Straw Hats could now ally themselves, at least to get Vegapunk off the island. One other character that we also need to factor in is Jewelry Bonnie, because she's with the Straw Hats right now on Egghead Island. Now, she's on a quest to get her father Kuba turned back to normal by Vegapunk, so she needs to talk to the good doctor to reverse the process that he did on removing Kuma's humanity. So after everything wraps up on Egghead, the Straw Hats would be able to go and rescue Sabo, and Bonnie may want to tag along, because she will want to be reunited with her father, who is of course currently with the revolutionaries. So if they were to rescue Sabo, the Straw Hats would be able to then take Bonnie to their actual base so she can be reunited with her father. However, we also wonder what's going to happen when Bonnie sees the new Seraphim seraphim that is modeled after her own father when CP0 arrives on Egghead Island, because they've just been sent by the world government, as I said, to take care of Vegapunk. So in these next several chapters, we might see a situation where the Straw Hats, Bonnie, and Vegapunk all team up to take on the world government, because right now, Teach at least seems to be out of the picture, working out some issues with Kobe. However, as we know, the world government has always been the big bad in the world that we would eventually have to take on. And as we go deeper into this final saga of One Piece, we gotta see that all of these different threads are gonna start coming together to bring all these different factions and characters together, either allying themselves with the world government or allying themselves with Luffy, the Straw Hats, and the Revolutionaries. So as we can see this big battle looming over the world of One Piece, we've also heard Oda refer to the idea that this battle, this final battle, will be one that makes the Battle of the Best in Marineford look like just a small skirmish, because this is literally going to involve potentially the whole world. But for now, we're going to have to wait to find out what Teach has in mind with Kobe. But since Kobe still has his deep connection with the world government and the Marines, and potentially Sword and Garb, we gotta know that this is going to be laying out some of the groundwork that will be resolved as we get ready for this final battle. A final battle where we will finally get to see the Revolutionary Army, and we'll get to see Dragon showing his full real power that's been hidden almost since the very beginning of our story, as well as all the other revolutionaries and all the other factions that are going to work together to overthrow the world government. But with all that said, my friends, we'd love to know what you think about it now. What do you think is going to be the catalyst that gets Vegapunk to join the Straw Hats, or at least leave the island? Or do you think that the various kind of cyborg Vegapunks might split their allegiance, where some go with the world government and others go with the Straw Hats? Next, what do you think Teach has in mind for Kobe? Now, we know that he respects Kobe because with whatever incident Kobe was involved in, it allowed Teach to take over Beehive Island or the Pirate Island. But do you think he's trying to turn Kobe, or simply just get some information out of him? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, I'd like to thank all of you that are still watching, and thank you so much for watching the video all the way up to the very end. Be sure to comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.